global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
As 20th of August is drawing near, the date set for Ndigbos to leave the southwestern state of Nigeria, the youth group has decided to speak up about it. The fears are there, but then they are aggressive this time around, and they have sent a very strong warning to all and sundry, especially the key stakeholders, ranging from the Lagos state government down to the IGP and every other person involved, that in the event of anything happening, they will take a stand. And you're going to hear full details of what they have to do. My colleagues in the house, we're going to be talking about this in a jiffy. But first of all, let's look at the details of the news. According to the news,
APEX, Igbo Social Culture Organization, highest in the Igbo Youth Council worldwide, has issued a warning to those behind the call for the expulsion of Igbos and plan to attack Igbos in Lagos State and other southwestern states. The group warned that any such attack will be met with unimaginable retaliation. As the youth issued the warning following a post from an ex-user with the Monarcha Lagospedia, which had called for the forced relocation of Igbo people from the region. In a statement, the national president of the council, Mazi Okunawike, emphasized that Igbo will not stand by while others plot against them without taking action. He described the call as coming from unpatriotic citizens who do not wish for peaceful coexistence among Nigerians, and warned that any attack on the Igbo anywhere in the country will have their consequences. Oku, in the statement titled "Enough is Enough," vowed that Ndigbos would respond proportionately should there be any attack on them anywhere in the country. As the youth president further stated that the people of the Southeast has remained silent for too long, even under the endless provocation of attack on Igbo people elsewhere in the country, and that their silence should not be mistaken for cowardice. He called on those behind what he described as dangerous and sinister rhetoric to desist, asserting that Igbo are not second-class citizens in the country. His words, and I quote, he said, "We want to unequivocally declare today that Ndigbos are not cowards. Our forefathers were not cowards. They were brave, and so we are. We warn those fanning the embers of discord not to mistake the calmness of a lion for weakness. We are not afraid and should not be pushed to the wall by faceless miscreants. Any attack on Ndigbos by anyone will be met with unimaginable retaliation. We are not second-class citizens of the country. No one is more Nigerian than the Igbos." Mazin Oku further explained that for decades, Igbo has borne the brunt of every crisis in Nigeria. He says they have paid the price for every upheaval. This is one of the major reasons we decided not to be part of the hardship protest or whatever they call it. We knew that the moment we identify with it, they would term it Igbo protest. Yet the same enemies of the Igbos, the same people who are looking for the blood of the Igbos, are unrelenting. He further said that the council is using this moment to issue a warning to those fanning the embers or calling and declaring that enough is enough, and vowing that any attempt to spill the blood of an Igbo person or taking down their businesses and properties will be met with equal retaliation. Those threats will be resisted. Henceforth, any attack on any Igbo anywhere in those aforementioned areas must be met with the utmost seriousness. We are one of the cardinal pillars of the country, so nobody would threaten the Igbos in this country any longer. We call on the Igbos not to be afraid to reside anywhere in any of these areas and to conduct their business without hitting the baseless trade by those intent to set the country ablaze. In the light of this development, Ohane is the youth president tasked security agencies with immediately arresting those who originated that call, which he described as being genocidal. This is quite interesting, I must say. He went further to say other things, but looking at the situation on ground, my colleagues in the house, what do you think this will translate to in the event of these so-called faceless miscreants pushing the Ndigbos to the wall? What do you think may possibly happen?
I'm really surprised that up till now, there have been no arrests. They ought to have been made. The arrests also have been made. Yes, they may look faceless, but there are people behind the handle.
Yes.
I thought by now that the governor of Lagos State would have swung into action, find out those behind the handle, and decisively deal with it. And I'm not talking about audio dealing. I'm talking about bringing them to book, let there be a media coverage, and let them, be sent to tried, and if found guilty, which I feel they should be found guilty, sent to jail. Because if you do not punish them to serve as a deterrent to others, they will keep doing this. Some people do not understand. They just feel that everything is, over time, they play politics now using ethnicity and religion. So some persons don't even know when to stop. They feel that, okay, that has been the card their organs at the top have been playing, so play it again, it will work. But you could be playing that same card, and these people are tired of that card. Look at, despite the fact that they did not even participate in the hashtag End Bad Governance, they are still making threats against them. What was that crime, or what was that thing they did? They didn't compete, they didn't participate, and you're still calling them out. That clearly shows that this is not about the protest. There's more that meets the eye. And I feel going forward that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should not just talk about it. He should give a mandate. And the governor, the chief security officer of the state, some persons have been insinuating, which is unfortunately true, that one of the communication person of the president,
yes, Bayo
Nanuga, actually did mention something similar to this, where he talked about Peter Obi instigating protests, of which Peter Obi never even for once. So you just see that if somebody representing the presidency is already toeing towards that line, then what is the hope of the government addressing this issue?
I'm telling you, it's quite a serious issue. But then let's also look at, what the security people will do about it, because I think this whole thing is in their hands right now. I can still remember when they were flying that Russian flag in Brno, in Kano, and someone came and made a very strong post that is, just imagine if these flags were held by the Ndigbos. Just imagine what would have happened and all of that. I mean, it was like, when I read it, and I was like, man, this is true. We have to deal with whatever that is subsisting between the Ndigbos. But these guys are integral part of Nigeria. And being an integral part of Nigeria, they are not just citizens, but these are citizens that have changed the narrative of Nigerians. Anyone, anywhere in the country, if you ask them who is an Igbo person, they say they are business-minded people. And when you're talking about business, you're talking about generating funds. And when you're talking about generating funds, on the part of the government, you're talking about paying huge taxes. So what do you think that at this point will be the situation like in event of government not going after these miscreants and bigots, and they decide to do anything? Do you think that the Ndigbos will be saying enough is enough and may decide to, kind of reply?
I think the government will do something. Come on. I don't see someone living in totality too, because at the end of the day, whose government will go bad? It's the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Yeah. And if anything escalates in Lagos, that's a nerve center. That's a commercial nerve center of Nigeria. And if anything escalates to any extent at all, that hashtag bad governance is small. It will be preamble. So I don't see the president keeping quiet. They will nip it in the bud. They will not allow it. It's just they're just trying to probably feel the impact and see how it will drive. But for me, I feel that it will never get to that level.
All right, that's where we'd like to leave it. Let's meet our comments.
Global happenings today.